See how bendy these are? So this will dry out in just a couple. Once you break a branch all the way off, this will dry out in just a day and snap. And that twig was an upward facing branch way off the ground here, 6 feet high, going up. If you look at these were big ones, salt cedar, again real tough, and they were also going up and are about 5.5 feet off the ground. So this is big stuff snapped off up here, and really recent. So, like that first one, that one could be hours old. So we'll go in here and take a look. You can see it in scale with my finger. This looks like infant. Look how thick this one is. Wow. Holy moly. Yeah, this is some serious. This is the kind of stuff you think Daddy would probably do, man. This is big stuff. Yeah, cows don't usually stack up bones. Look more at what type of canines got on this and messed with it. There ought to be canine gnaw marks all over it. Let's see on those ribs. Ribs are snapped off, but they're not canine chewed. Doesn't look like canine edges there. Got a couple of sharp little breaks there. Still don't look like canine broke those ribs off. They've all been broken off, so. And then you have real big chunks missing. Look, no canine scrapes. Look, almost what looks like big hominin type teeth. Of course, you can see the remnants of what were all reed beds in here. This would have all been a foot or two of water. Wow, look at that break, Bob. That's a big one. That's a big, tall break. Heard that. Sounds like a turkey. Did it twice. Where's Nancy? So we just heard something sound like a turkey. There shouldn't be any turkey down here. Okay, howdy everybody. So finally made it back 200 miles to the GLST research area, and I'll be going in today and looking for track evidence, hopefully to cast something. And we haven't had a whole lot of sign, although I just had a report from Bob that we had upstream quite a few miles away from here. Yeah, a small human footprint, human-looking footprint, I should say, hominin footprint, but many miles upstream from here. We like doing this time of year because the temperatures are so low. We're over 6,500 feet elevation, and in this time of year, these temps, even out here in New Mexico, are dropping way below freezing at night. So we get in the single digits often over here. So I think nights have probably been in the 20s or something. I noticed some pooled water was all frozen. So yeah, barefoot traffic, shouldn't really be that big a deal. We'll be going into about a mid-section for our research area in the GLST, about the mid overall area, so along the river bottoms and the habitable zone that the family uses, and just to kind of get a glimpse and see potentially where they are, and if they've been in here, where they've been going through, and hopefully they have been down in here, and we can potentially get maybe a good track from the large female or something. She's got a 20-inch foot. So I brought Quikrete today to do the casting, and Dawn just so as a mold release, and we'll try to see what we can get, because often these are in real sandy or gravelly areas, so it's really difficult to get a good cast. And as you can see, I'm in here with Bob and Nancy today, and Nancy's going to be running the PD4 actual prototype. It's a little bit beyond the PD3. You can kind of see what this setup looks like here. And but that's going to be operating. It's operating now, actually, because often when we get in here just a little ways further down, we get a hoop or two, if it was a warning, if nothing else, and then often we won't get anything after that. So, all right, here we go. On these banks, we've found where they've used sticks to dig out rodent or rabbit burrows, and so we know that they do that. We keep a pretty close eye on these washes. There's been a ton of cattle through here, so. It's possible when we get up to this first initial foliage, we might have some entry markers. Something pretty common that they do. When you have first foliage, or in the first few, there we go, they do this. So this is your marker up here. Let's see where our camera's at. So you can see this one that's bent down here. What we do is we look for an age on that. So that was new growth, broke early in the year. Looks like it still had some leaves on it, so it had to be broken before the leaf drop. But that's what we're looking for. So that's your initial starter markers, and often they'll do that repeatedly. See, here we go. So you can see here, twist it off. Another pretty dramatic example. And like I've said in the past, this Russian olive, when it's green like this virgin growth, in other words, the first year's spring growth, when it's real bright red, and it is extremely hard. You can see how it splinters. I mean, super hard, ultra hard. So there's no way a human could do that even with two hands and their fingers, let alone one. You'll see it again. So, and these are broke off, you know, what, 5 foot here, and then on the back side here, you look and you've got major ones broken down at about, let's see, 6'8" or close to 7. So you've got repetitive breaking. So I mean, there's no cow or horse or anything that's doing that. And if you look back in here, you've got one that'll go 7.5 foot back in there, same thing. And I mean, a cow or anything can't get back in there to do the 7.5 damage. And then they're leaving hangers. So this is real common when they do a snap, and then they'll leave the piece hanging there. And so that's what I was instructing the guys up in the Midwest, up in Michigan, to do, was to watch for that. And it's actually partially what led to them having some encounters. So works everywhere. But cool. That's a good initial find. So, and then you can see here the corridor marking again. It's yeah, it should be still recording, Bob. So here's again, this is your other corridor marker, 6-7 feet. Oh, here you go. Here's an interesting one. We look right up in the sun here, and we're looking at that one is a good 10 foot. Same thing. It's not snow load or anything like that. So that's one snapped off at 10 feet high. So there's nothing else out here that's going to be doing that. Excellent. Now these are all spring or summer of this year. So these are not recent. And when we say recent, we mean days or hours old. You can see if you look here, here's where we can tell how cold it is. There's ice. So if Bob's finding bare feet print out here, and there's exposed ice freestanding on the ground, and you guys know what that means. And here we've got some very cleared ambush points. Habitual cells here, same as always. Super clean. These are clean enough where they have been in here in the last few months. These are really clean, so. So I haven't been here in quite a while. Last time we came through is at least over a year. And I was able to discover quite a bit of sign. We got on the family unit pretty quick. It was in a different area, but with no exposed water. So this is an issue. So we generally there is water flowing under these soils, but the river changes every year. When it floods, and it'll either deposit or scarf out. And when it deposits a lot of sand, it covers up the flow zone. Those are some really odd marks right there. Don't know what that is. Could be a bird pecking at something, digging something out. But so times like this, it is filled in with sand, so there's no exposed water, at least at this area. And that's generally not a good thing for their presence. So we may find sign of them moving through here, but they're probably not here. They'll be somewhere there's water pooled, generally, or close to the pooling water. Now this is kind of interesting because you just don't see stray wood like this sitting around all by itself. Just something put this here. I mean, it just doesn't lay out here like that. Period. So if there's wood, it's going to be tangled up in a mess or caught somewhere like this stuff. It's not going to be sitting out here by itself like that. That's pretty wild. There's no mud ring around it or anything, so it got carried there. See just how dense that is. Now in an area like this, then we look for sign from where they use something like this as an ambush point. So whether they're living here or not, and they've marked, here's a spot by this tree they've marked real heavily for some reason. You can see all these. So I wonder where first exposed water is.
Oh man, ain't much anywhere except up by the bridge. Been this way for most of the summer.
Well, I know they're not
What
living
happened was we've had so many big floods, it just filled everything up with sand out here.
Right.
Places that on down where we didn't have the cattails and the swamp. That last time I was there, it didn't dry up; it just got buried in sand. So everything's got to find its way back where there's pools of water. I do remember it got a little wetter down here because you got 3 runs here that split. And
Yeah.
comes together on a rock face down here.
If there's a deep scarf someplace.
There's up here by where the rock comes off the wall, a dike and hits the creek. Maybe there's water.
Yeah, because they just need enough to drink. That's it.
Back there by the cliff.
Well, I'm seeing all kinds of prints. There's prints of deer, if you look down here. But we have all kinds of animal prints. We got deer. There's raccoon right back there. So there's a lot of prey animal sign. Anyway, there's cattle too, of course. A lot of prey animal sign. You can just see the deer prints leading across here. This is a nice looking entry. I don't see any recent marks on it, but I think I'm going to try this one. Caught here. See, not many cattle walk back here for some reason. a good place to put a camera. I didn't bring the game cam. Great place though. Cows don't use it. Wide spot. Big tree. This is the kind of spots that the family will hang out with the kids. That's extremely clean right in there. That's a really good sign. That's really clean. So this area inside the trees, there's not even a stick laying in there. And this stuff drops continually. So something has to clean them out. And that's what you get for ambush locations. When you have game walking up and down this river at night. So you can see how clean these are. There's just nothing in them. This is all thorns up above, and you could just roll around in there like it's no big deal. Matter of fact, let's go in here and look, because it's not even really been kicked out by cattle. It's just really beautiful. Looks manicured. And you have a little bit of damage like what we look for. It's not too old. So this one here, it's on top, see, facing up. So any large animal that's going to come in here and break this, it's not even likely to break that. It's likely to break anything under it first, like these little twigs, you know. So that's a good sign. Here again, we've got high damage and a twist. And the floor is just, like I said, they're just, you could just lay right down in here and roll around, not have to worry about anything. Really nice and hidden. You could fit a whole group here. I'd say it's just a hunting blind area, but you could put 3 or 4 individuals here real easy. So Bob just pointed out some interesting scat. Now, since we haven't seen much sign, of course, of habitation, and thus we have not seen any normal scat piles we see wherever we track the Bigfoots at. So the scat that we attribute to them, again, that's the more validation. But then Bob did notice, like I said, this scat pile in particular. And this is really interesting because it has Russian olive and it's green. Sorry about the focus there. And you can see it in scale with my finger. This looks like infant. So when they lactate, as most moms will know, the scat can be blue to greenish color. But of course you got Russian olives here too, so you might have lactating young being stuffed with some Russian olives, so it may not be all that young. But that's a good sign. And this surface, you could definitely, a soft-foot animal would definitely get all over this without marking it. We barely mark it with our boots. So. Cool find. Yeah, now we'll see what more. Like I said, Bob even pointed out there's just a complete absence of the scat that we attribute to them through the years of research with them. So, and when they're in an area, active in an area, they'll wow, these are interesting. These don't look like cow. So that actually looks like a quad Bigfoot.
Pretty wide space.
Yeah, it's not a cow.
Unless it's there.
Yeah, real wide space. So these set right here actually look like a quad Bigfoot. I noticed a couple of marks that look like fist marks. Looks like they went right across this. And so that's what this looks like. This looks like it dropped off this bank, went quad across here, and went up. Because those aren't cows. And you can see cow prints everywhere. There's thousands of cow prints here, everywhere. And then these just aren't cows. And that's what, You can see it here, there, and they go right out. I don't even see where they go up the bank. See, if they're cattle, then a cow went up this bank, he's going to dig that whole thing out. But they just come right here, perpendicular across the stream. And you would, I mean, when it's hard pack here, see, they barely break surface. So, and the cows leave pretty definite marks. You can pretty well tell them. Those don't really look, especially like this one here. It just does not look like a cow at all. It looks like the front of a Bigfoot. Then you got the fists. So that's pretty interesting. And right next to that weird scat. So you can see the cow tracks. Cow tracks look like cow tracks. See those cow tracks. Of course, those could be 4 foot as well. They're aware of their tracks, so when they cross areas like this, they do everything they can to not leave prints. Most of this, you can break surface and not really leave a print, but these are cow prints, for example. And these where you can see the hoof marks. And the other ones you could say were windblown, but they actually still had the crust right there, so. Subtle differences. What we're looking for is scat. So, and active prints. I'd really like to cast a good sized print in here today. What the family not in habitation most we're going to get are the transient hunters that are going up and down the riverbed, or maybe one or two of them carrying young or something, moving from one place to another. So we actually made it all the way down to where this used to be a swamp. And because the way the water changed due to the last big floods and stuff over the last couple of years, this area is now no longer a swamp. So of course you can see the remnants of what were all reed beds in here. This would have all been a foot or two of water. Wow, look at that break, Bob. That's a big one. That is a big, tall break. Yeah, boy, that's amazing. Well, we could still find some big compressions in this potentially. They'd be old, but yeah, notice even on a limb this size, you notice the whole thing's bright red. And the only thing they ever break are bright red branches. So and that's also more durable. Those fresh ones are more durable than the others. So they're the least likely to naturally break. So you got to pay attention to that stuff to know what's anomalous and what's not. Or right, it could be debatable real easy, but it's a lot tougher to debate when you consider the reality. Yeah, so you can see how all this was basically like a backwater pond. And I'm sure it will be again one day when the flow in the main channel changes. But they used to frequent this. This is where we got feet print, hand prints, and long series of trackways just appeared that we saw with the drone, and then came in here and made the connection and followed all of it out. Tracked it for quite a ways, actually. So far, all I'm really seeing is shine from, oh, that's a potential really big print right there. Actually, that's a potential big print. Do you see it?
In the path.
Yeah, right there.
On top.
Yeah, like big, like that big boy big. Like all that.
Oh.
Not that.
Let's see, it hasn't been stepped on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see any other ones, but that's, so it looks like almost like heel, big toes, and that's how big That's how big the big one's feet are. That's kind of what his prints are easy to miss because they're that big. So 23 inches, but I don't know if that's one or not. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. There's a hell of a flat right there that's been compressed, right?
Yeah.
So you can see it good on, pretty good on camera.
We walk through here.
Well, we should know up here in the sand. So this is where we found her track way before. In the sand up here, we found probably 200 prints of hers as we tracked her through here, and they were 20-inch long. That's how we know. I say her. That's how we know which one it is. Unforgiving thorns. See, I don't know if you can see these, but see the thorn there behind the leaf. That's why any creatures running around out here barefoot all over the place are pretty brave. Well, I don't see anything I directly attribute to one of them coming through. Now, I don't know if you heard that, but it sounds like a turkey. Did it twice. Where's Nancy? Is that on? So we just heard something sound like a turkey. There shouldn't be any turkey down here. Did three times. Nancy's got the parabolic. So I'll have to find out what file that is. Is that They usually shut up and sneak off.
You know, I don't know anybody seen really a wild turkey around here. I know your neck of the woods. I gotta believe there. I know up north.
Is that still on that? You can leave it on. Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Let me go around here and look in 90 degrees into here real quick. I'll be right back. Just listen from here. See, now I've actually walked right in on these guys before. I've been a few yards, not hundreds of feet or anything from them before, so. As long as it's not that big one again. Those do look like his prints, though. I'm not trying to be too quiet because it already knows where we're at, so if it's in there. No, this might be where he's going in and out. Look how high this damage is here. It's a good 5 feet up. That's interesting because no cows sitting in there or going in there at all. This is I think this is an ambush cell. So they may be hunting down here because this is where all the animals used to come to drink all the time. Full of cattails, beautiful little pond, frogs and everything else. Oh boy, here we go. There we go. Look on the ground right here too. The little things right here. See those fresh little salt cedar tips? Those are fresh. Those haven't been there long. And then of course you got this big break. Watch this. Look how big this snap is here. Watch. See. It broke down and it's a complete branch with nothing else broke off of it. So it didn't receive a lot of trauma. And the most important is this one. You can see here how it's been. Let's try to get you in the. You can see how it's been bent back and over. So it's been bent back and pinned behind all these other branches here. That ain't a cow either. Now that stuff. Let me see how old this is here. Let me see one of these. Now let me see one that's still on the tree here. Wow, that's maybe only a couple of weeks old. If that, maybe even not even that. It's not that old. Are any of these bendable? Yeah, look, it still bends. It'll break, but it still bends. So this may not even be that old. This might only be it'll have to be a few days minimum. Well, that's right here, and we're looking right at where the sound was coming out of. Yeah, I don't think that's a turkey. So good. And see what else is here. Just happens to be here, right? Is our massive red one. See, and that's a big branch there. That's a good. That branch is, I'd say 13 to 14 feet to the lowest break point of that. So, you know what? I bet those prints are from Dad that we just saw. They're not good enough to cast, but I saw enough flats to believe they could be, and then he's the one that does stuff like that, so. Yeah, I think that's a good, and I think we got somebody in there right now, too. I bet you we do have somebody in there. Because there's below the big break over here is right next to it our stuff that's not very old. Look at the size of it. Come here and check this out. So that's a good, what, 14? Stand underneath that for scale, Bob. And it touches the ground. So you can see how high that break is, that snap point is right up here above Bob. So that's a good 14 feet. So he had to be able to reach up, grab 14 feet. But check these breaks out. Look at this. See these?
Yeah, you saw that one.
Okay, but I didn't realize how fresh this stuff is. So these still bend. I was just bending a branch, and they're still bendy. That means this is only a few days old. It's not that old.
You figured they still come through here. Water back.
Well, and then we just now had 3 sounds of a turkey. And it would have been straight this direction from here at 90 degrees to our position.
Yeah. It'll go right by it.
Yeah, let's do it again. Let's see if it'll do it again. Yeah, and Nance, just keep your dish pointed just in this area as we progress and walk around. That way we might catch it walking or... Not gonna be able to see anything through this stuff though. He is laying in there making noise. Well, that's what they do. They toy with you. Being where we are, it's more likely to be a Bigfoot than it is a turkey. So let's try. Well, that Scat sure wasn't very old. Look for big prints here. Who came through here? Did we? Yeah, we may have. You would think because one of us cut across here. See, lots of bird tracks, but no turkey.
That's not the river.
Well, it's a river channel. I don't know if it is or not. Yeah, I flew up that one with the drone. It is wide like a road.
Yeah, I saw this kind of thing.
Yeah, and that other one is wide. We can walk it real easy. Remember they used to mark right here. See, here's another out of place artifact, basically. This doesn't go here. Something dropped it here. Something dropped it here from quite a ways. You see there's no marks, no nothing. There's not even nothing. There's nothing here yet. You've got to where obviously there was cow dung on it or around it, which is really interesting. It's been here long enough to get covered by a little sand, but it didn't just get dropped here on its own. As you can see, the stuff that's fallen off of it. So it's been there long enough for a little bit of wind to blow some sand over it. So all this stuff looks like within the last 3 days or something, maybe. But that's not to say there's not a subject laying in there just goofing with us doing turkey sounds. Which that's actually exactly what we expect, so that's why we brought the parabolic. Okay, I was walking up and just noticed another scat pile with a complete absence of canine or anything else kind of prints anywhere. And they would mark this. Anything with a real soft broadfoot may not leave much mark. But you see here, the diameters, it's big enough. Not for a big individual, but for a adolescent. And it's got a lot of Russian olive in it. I can't tell what else is in there. But there's a lot of Russian olive. This time of year, that's all you're going to get. Real tough to mention this time of year. But what's interesting is right next to it is we have these little dribbles of feces again. And, oh, there we go. You can see it's the same color green. And then Nancy's pointing to another piece over there. And there's another small piece here. And then there's another small piece there.
Here comes the traffic down the road. Right.
There's another one.
So like I said, there's zero canine impression. And they have a smaller foot for weight ratio, so they push right in this. We see bird marks and their marks all the time, but we can almost walk on this with our boots and not leave much impression. And a soft-footed animal just could do this real easy. Now, I'm real curious as to how old this is, though. So, oh, it's not old. Well, it's less than 24 hours, that's for sure. So we do have sign of subjects here within the last, because this is less than 24 hours, it's still moist and soft. So, and actually in this cold winter air, it'll dry out faster than. Look at the deer prints. Look how many deer prints there are here. Like a major deer crossing right here. Yeah, and then you have the fresh branches on the ground that should not be here, that are from this tree here. Lots of breaks. And, you know, these are, I'm sure that's 7. Well, actually, maybe a little higher, because maybe 7.6. And then look at this thing. This tree's broke here, and then twisted over the next limb there. Down. See how it's done? It was going out. It was going out this direction, and bent over, and then twisted and bent down again and pinned. And there's nothing. There's only one thing doing that. That's it. One thing. And they've been through here very recently now, it looks like. Of course, initially we hadn't found much recent sign or any recent sign. And then found some within the last 2 to 3 days. And then just got chirped at by a turkey where turkeys don't really live. And then found sign that's less than 12 hours probably old. So, all in all, that's pretty good so far. Still looking for a good castable print. At least off one of the adolescents. But we've already walked this to some degree. We're just not right there because we were cutting back and forth. Yeah, I stopped to point something out. So we talk about following trail sign and breakage and stuff. This is a well-established cow trail. Okay, they walk this trail instead of anywhere else on the ground. You can see what they do to the ground. Looks like a road. They don't even step outside of it half the time. So a well-grouped herd does this. Now, it takes a lot of cows to wear a trail like this. And now the type of damage we see, people say, oh, you can attribute that to a cow. Well, let's go where we know lots of cows you could collectively say hundreds and hundreds have gone through this. And what you see is no breaks at all. Zero, even on the little stuff. Okay. And these were all the cows walk. And we could just keep doing this. You don't see any breaks because the Bigfoots are not walking through here. They snap stuff off intentionally that's in their way, bugs, pokes them, whatever. And you can just see there's just none of that damage here. So here's another kind of anomalous place here. The white stuff there on the ground's left over from the freezing, but it's actually calcium and salts. So this is one of the areas they'll pump into and inhabit. So, and what we noticed, so from out there was all this real, let me get her to go up here, all this real high damage, big damage, and then this pinned down branch to my left there. So this is real high damage. It's not that old. This is going to be to the other day again. Hey, look, see how bendy these, oops, sorry about that. See how bendy these are? So this will dry out in just a couple, once you break a branch all the way off, this will dry out in just a day and snap. And that twig was an upward facing branch way off the ground here. 6 feet high, going up. If you look at these were big ones, salt cedar, again real tough, and they were also going up and are about 5.5 feet off the ground. So this is big stuff snapped off up here, and really recent. So like that first one, that one could be hours old. So we'll go in here and take a look. I see no cow sign at all. Let's go in here a little ways. There's no movement on this quietly either. Well, if I was in socks, I could do it. Maybe barefoot. Yeah, so we know they were just through here within so many hours off that break. It could have been the same subject that was just doing the turkey thing 3/4 mile down there, or it'd be an entirely different member of the group. Because they spread out and just, especially the young adults and teenagers, they just spread out through these things, and they can lay anywhere they want in here and hunt all they want, and they're never going to encounter anything they don't want to. I see a clearing. There's a clearing way back through there. This is a real heavy bosky. I just picked up a super high pitched tone. And see, I'm still following. I haven't mentioned what I'm doing here. I'm not just arbitrarily going through here. I'm following a couple things. One are large flat imprints, which are 4 foot. You see some of this stuff here. These are sides of fist, toes, fingers, okay, for movement. And I'm looking at these breaks here. See, we have all these fresh breaks. Look, see how fresh that is, fresh breaks. All the tips are gone. Here, and move through. You got a hanger here. See, okay, that's what we want. This is real fresh stuff. That'll fall off of there so easy. A couple of stiff wind gusts will take it off. So, and you can see even right here in front of me, there's a large scuff on the ground. That's actually totally fresh. That's hours old. That wasn't here last night because there's no crust from the freeze. And you can make it out. You don't have to point it out. And so coming right through this gap here. So this is just a few hours ago that a subject came through. Doesn't look like a super big one. Got prints all the way through here though. I don't know if they show. So where is that? So here's these scuffs. There's actually scuff. They come through these leaves. You can see them, they just keep going. But it looks like he was going the other direction. So I think this is the one that was doing the turkey, probably, or one of them. Because that was that away, about a half mile or 3/4 of a mile. So this is really cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back out. Good, that's really fresh sign. So I almost feel disappointed when I can't get in here and figure out where they've been, where they've gone through, what they're doing. So I mean, these kind of pinnings like this, big branch, old rip-off pinnings, they do that to cover and make these kind of pathways. And they'll manipulate them. We've seen them when they're all woven together. One of these days I'll get back into those areas and show everybody. Yeah, you can just, the outer sign markers are just huge here. All over my head. So cool. Yeah, there's sign in there, just a couple hours old. So
That's huge area.
That's kind of what I thought coming in. We were here before, and it's like right here, you can kind of get in on the backside. If I recall. Go up the valley.
let's sit for just a second. Yeah, this would be the best place as any to do the apple. Perfect. All right, so each time I come out, I'll leave them. Try to leave them one of these when I leave, because just to say, hey, we were here, and what's up, dude? So it's been a while, but I mean, because we're a pain in the ass, we're interrupting them. We come in here and bother them, even though they might have fun playing with us. We're still just interrupting their daily trip. So just kind of give them these. We don't come back or put game cams on or anything, normally. So we'll just kind of leave it to that. Sweet. All right, so here we go again. This is some of the infant scat. And you can see the Russian olive there in the bottom of it, if we get it to focus correctly. You can see the Russian olive seed, so same thing. Looks like plant fiber and Russian olive seed. So here you can see, just not far from the infant scat, maybe 30 feet, and all these mad breaks on the ground. Carnage. This is a big piece here. So talking 3-inch in diameter. Yeah, ripped off from up there. So grab point was about 6.5 feet at minimum. And then let's go in here a little ways. There's no movement on this quietly either. Well, if I was in socks, I could do it. Maybe barefoot. Yeah, so we know they were just through here within so many hours off that break. It could have been the same subject that was just doing the turkey thing, 3/4 mile down there, or it could be an entirely different member of the group. Because they spread out and just, especially the young adults and teenagers, they just spread out through these things, and they can lay anywhere they want in here and hunt all they want, and they're never going to encounter anything they don't want to. Just see a clearing. There's a clearing way back through there. This is a real heavy bosque. I just picked up a super high pitched tone. And see, I'm still following. I haven't mentioned what I'm doing here. I'm not just arbitrarily going through here. I'm following a couple things. One, are large flat imprints, which are 4 foot. You see some of this stuff here. These are sides of fist, toes, fingers, okay, for movement. And I'm looking at these breaks here. See, you have all these fresh breaks. Look, see how fresh that is, fresh breaks. All the tips are gone. Here, and move through. You got a hanger here. See, okay, that's what we want. This is real fresh stuff. That'll fall off of there so easy. A couple of stiff wind gusts will take it off. So, and you can see even right here in front of me, there's a large scuff on the ground. That's actually totally fresh. That's hours old. That wasn't here last night because there's no crust from the freeze. And you can make it out. You don't have to point it out. And so coming right through this gap here. And this is just a few hours ago that a subject came through. Doesn't look like a super big one. Got prints all the way through here though. I don't know if they show. So where is it? So here these scuffs. There's actually scuff. And they come through these leaves. You can see them, they just keep going. But it looks like he was going the other direction. So I think this is the one that was doing the turkey, probably, or one of them. Because that was that away, about a half mile or 3/4 mile. So this is really cool. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back out. Good, that's really fresh sign. So I almost feel disappointed when I can't get in here and figure out where they've been, where they've gone through, what they're doing. So I mean, this kind of pinning, these kind of pinnings like this, big branch old rip-off pinnings, they do that to cover and make these kind of pathways. And they'll manipulate them. We've seen them when they're all woven together. One of these days I'll get back into those areas and show everybody. Yeah, you can just, the outer sign markers are just huge here. All over my head. So cool. Yeah, there's sign in there, just a couple hours old. So
That's huge area.
That's kind of why I thought coming in, we were here before, and it's like right here, you can kind of get in on the backside. If I recall. Go up the valley.
let's sit for just a second. Yeah, this would be the best place as any to do the apple. Perfect. All right, so each time I come out, I'll leave them, try to leave them one of these when I leave, because just to say, hey, we were here, and what's up, dude? So it's been a while, but I mean, because we're a pain in the ass, we're interrupting them. We come in here and bother them, even though they might have fun playing with us. We're still just interrupting their daily trip. So just kind of give them these. We don't come back or put game cams on them or anything, normally. So we'll just kind of leave it to that. Sweet. All right, so here we go again. This is some of the infant scat. And you can see the Russian olive there in the bottom of it, if we get it to focus correctly. You can see the Russian olive seed, so same thing. Looks like plant fiber and Russian olive seed. So here you can see, just not far from the infant scat, maybe 30 feet, and all these mad breaks on the ground. Carnage. This is a big piece here. So talking 3-inch in diameter. Yeah, ripped off from up there. So grab point was about 6.5 feet at minimum. And then of course, that other one on the other side of there's broken, twisted in the center section of it. So multi-breaks. And then you can see other ones up in here that have been snapped out as well. So making a pretty good statement. These are actually pretty fresh. These are just within days again. So it looks like we are on the following the path that they did come through here the last few days. And since we've got other travel over there within just the last so many hours, you got some more scat here that again has just mostly seeds and Russian olive. Same thing. Looks a little older than the other pile. A couple of days apart probably. So if they're moving through here, they're quad, and we can't discern prints from cattle with all this marking. Actually, we do see quite a bit that don't look like cattle in here, mixed in with all the other divots. But there's nothing definitive that we can find yet. The sand just collapses back into the main path. Of course, some of these do look pretty impressive. That set sure does. So I say, but we just don't know without definitive form. We've got a lot of these like this that are big, flat, long sets here. Like I say, just don't, just without toes and without definitive trackway, or we're obviously following the route of travel. I just don't know if those are their prints or not. I'll cruise on the backside back here. And this is pretty common. This is where they'll gather and defecate, but it's interesting. We're only finding, well, not only, but we're finding majority is all the scat from the infant. So the group's just passing through. They're probably not staying here. So the infant's has to defecate just as they go. And the older individuals all hold it and go at their places they go. They don't go individually. They usually go in a group. So wow, that's some impressive damage. Check it, Bob. Wow. The cool, look at this. Holy crap. Look how thick this one is. Wow. Holy moly.
Wow.
Yeah, this is some serious.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff you think Daddy would probably do, man. This is big stuff. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's really large. Well, you spotted his first prints from before, so do it again. Yeah, wow, huh?
After May to now, but we had a big flood down
Hmm. Yeah, it looks strangely parted out.
there. Like stacking these bones by each other.
Yeah, coyotes don't usually stack up bones. Look more at what type of canines got on this and messed with it. There ought to be canine gnaw marks all over it. Let's see on those ribs. Ribs are snapped off, but they're not canine chewed. Doesn't look like canine edges there. Got a couple of sharp little breaks there. Still don't look like canine broke those ribs off. They've all been broken off though, and then you have real big chunks missing. Look, no canine scrapes. Look, almost what looks like big hominin type teeth.
Second.
So we can look on the edge here. Again, there's no canine scrapes. There's just nothing on here where, even around the cartilage areas and around the zones like here.
I got moved from way down there. I know that steer wouldn't want to get back.
And there's the other half of the back broke off there. Oh, that's really interesting. Bigfoot got her. I see her. She's right there. Maybe she's catching audio off something over there, probably. Yeah, she's using the dish.
Listen to it right now.
Right.
What does it sound like?
How it sounded so far away.
What
And
file
then
number
the
is that?
ravens went crazy and went up.
Did you have the?
I don't even know how many.
Did you have it on when you heard it?
Yeah, it's still on.
So you got the? You think you got the howl on there, or did you hear it and then turn it on?
No, I already had it.
Was it aimed that direction?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, and then all the ravens were going. There must have been like 100 ravens. I don't know. It's weird. It's a whole big flock.
But it sounded like a howl, but just way, way, way upstream.
Way far away.
Well, we know water's way, way, way upstream.
I heard it.